Good evening, dear all. It's so great to see all of you joining EWB Thursday series of webinars. And we are welcoming everyone who are joining us on Zoom and also Facebook. It's so great to see so many people caring about their professional development and also who are willing to invest their 1 hour time a day for professional development. Please believe me that this kind of investment of your time into professional development will pay off very soon, and you will turn into better educators and better specialists in English language teaching in your community. And once again, let me greet everybody and introduce our speaker today. As you probably, many of you who have been in our events, in-person events or conferences. So many of you know our outstanding speaker today. I'm very happy to welcome again Miss Marwa Mansour. Yes, a very great specialist, English language specialist who has been part of EWB conferences in the past. And it's my pleasure to welcome her again. And dear all, please get prepared for the webinar. And for those who don't know our speaker today, let me share some information. Ms. Marwa Mansour, born in Cairo, Egypt, is an experienced English language educator. After studying business at Ain Shams University, she shifted to education, pursuing training at Cambridge University and a master's English education from Indonesia. Marwa Mansour has contributed to training programs on teaching, leadership, and accreditation. She now serves as educational consultant at Ajo University in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. And more than that, she is EWB honorary member since 2020. Three, if I'm not mistaken. And it's always such a great pleasure to welcome you, dear speaker, dear Marwa, to EWB platform. And with great pleasure, I'm giving the floor to you. Dear all, please stay active, ask your questions to our speaker after the presentation, and enjoy the webinar. Let's enjoy it together. Thank you, and over to you, dear Marwa.
Thank you, Ms. Nasiba, for this introduction. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I really miss everyone, all the family of EWB. Welcome today to this evening. I hope you enjoy it. Today, I think we have such an interesting topic that we wanted to discuss together. As our time is very tight, let's start right away. So, okay, Mhm. Okay, can you see now? Okay, I think.
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's great. Yes, that's amazing. So, today actually we have a topic that we are all interested in, I believe, like how to prepare our students for the global opportunities. I know that we are very professional in preparing our students regarding the academic side. And we are always aware of the types of exams that the students will take or the types of assessment that they need to go through. But actually, nowadays, it's quite different because if any of you is involved in registering the students to universities abroad or even in your country, universities now are interested in the type of student that will join the campus. They are interested in the character that will join the campus. And if I agree on you as a student, how can you affect the other students in my campus? So that's why actually our mission in as teachers now, it's not only about preparing the students to solve the exams, but it is also preparing the soft skills of our students. And that would be the main topic that we will discuss together today. So first, I will discuss with you why soft skills are important now to open those global doors to our students. And what are those soft skills that we need to improve with our students? Then how can we link those soft skills or, raising those soft skills with our students to the academics that we have to apply in the class? And I will show you some practical activities that you can link them to English language or even to any other subject if we have teachers of other subjects. And finally, I will show you the roadmap. How can we start? How can we go step by step until we master teaching soft skills to our students? And finally, of course, we will have some reflections with questions and answers. So let's start together. I wanted to start with this percentage that's actually announced in the World Economic Forum that 60% or 65% of our students today will end up having jobs that we don't know about them or they are not yet existing. So I don't know about your opinion. If you agree on that, please write in the chat box. Do you agree on this? That maybe we don't know about the jobs that those students are going to work in the future. Maybe these jobs are not existing even. So, what is your opinion about that? I think your students have shared some ideas with you. Right, please. What do you think about that? Yes. Good evening to everyone. I see the messages now. Yes. I have a lot of teachers here, yeah, who agree with this. Actually, if you just talk to your kids at home, not even the students, you would discover that the students now, they are more interested in different things that maybe sometimes it looks weird to us. So as teachers, we need to adapt to whatever is happening now. Sometimes they say the students are not good in the class, the students are not disciplined, the students are not listening to me, or the students are not interested in this subject. For example, actually, if we tell the students, are you interested in being at school at all? They would say no, and they wanted just to go home and play or stay on front of the screens. So here comes the difference in teaching. I know that EWB community, teachers community, you are aware of student-centered approaches, project-based approaches, and so on. But today we wanted to involve more skills training for our students. How can we do that together? Let's go step by step. Uh, just my computer is lagging. So, what are the top soft skills that the students need? Let's think together and let's go through the slides one by one. Whenever I am talking, please imagine and reflect to your students in the class. Whenever I say one of the skills or I discuss one of the skills, please reflect to your class. Yeah, I know that student, he is doing that, or I know that student who needs that. So the first skill we have, and it is really needed, is communication and collaboration. I know that we practice that when we are doing some activities in the class with every topic we teach. But sometimes, believe me, sometimes the students are not good listeners. They are not ready to listen to each other. Or some of the students, they can't explain what they want. Verbally, they are not able to communicate. Maybe if the student is young, he can cry easily because he can't express what he wants to say. Or if the student is a teenager, he might just stop talking because no one understands what I want. So this is the case. This is the skill we want to improve in our students. How to talk, what to say, when to say, and to whom you should talk to. And when someone talks to you, how you should be a good listener. This is very important. So, for example, you find one of the students, he wants to go to the principal of the school. Why? Because he wants to offer something. Okay, did you prepare a proper presentation for that? Is this the correct time to meet the principal and discuss this with him? Did you take an appointment to meet him? And so on. So they need to learn how to communicate with other people around them and how to collaborate when they are in one team. In my approach, I always prefer to give my students an example from a global company or a global institution. For this soft skill, for example, we would reflect on Google. Google emphasizes teamwork in cross functional projects. So they always train their employees to work together in a collaboration atmosphere. No one is responsible for something alone. It's always a teamwork. Okay, so how can I reflect on that with my students in the class? For example, Model United Nations or MUNs. It always teaches the student that they need to collaborate together to search for the problem, to find the reasons, and to find the solutions for that. And after that, they go through debates and so on. So, this is one of the things that the student can practice communication and collaboration in an authentic atmosphere. How about in my class? What can I do to improve this skill? You can make group projects, for example, where every student has a clear role. This is one of the issues, by the way, that some of the students face. Let's imagine you have an activity in your class and you assigned a team to do that activity. But actually, sometimes we assign a team without giving clear roles, or the kids themselves, they don't divide the roles. So, what happens is that maybe if the team is five, you will find three active students who are working on the task and two students who are very good at hiding behind the team. And as a result, the work comes out as it is the job of the whole team. So at that point, you lose some of your students within this project. So what you should do is that you divide the roles to all the students to guarantee that everyone is learning how to communicate and how to collaborate. Another idea might be peer teaching, students to explain to each other. Actually, we have applied that project and it was very successful and very helpful, but it was not inside the same class. So, what we did is that we asked high school students, like grade 9, 10, 11, to help primary students doing their homework. So, what happened here is sort of communication and collaboration in the whole school, actually. Because after a while, the students in primary, they came to know the students in high school, like brothers and sisters and so on. So it became very cozy atmosphere inside the school. They are like a family together. They could communicate together, they could talk together, they could collaborate together. And by the way, that also improves one more skill that I will show you later on. Okay, so this is the first skill we have, and we have to start working on that. The second skill is critical thinking and problem solving. We always talk about that. But when we talk about it, we just show it to the students in the shape of uh, problems in math, for example. Yes, math problems are nice to practice critical thinking and problem solving, but the kids need this skill in real life concept or real life context. So, what is this about? It is about to analyze the information that I receive, not memorizing the information, analyzing them, and evaluating the different solutions or the different way I can use this information and process it. So that's what we call critical thinking and problem solving. In a global company, as I told you, I like to give that example. For example, NASA company. They depend on engineers problem solving with missions when they face unexpected issues. So they don't have a clear handbook, for example. If that happens, you should do that. No, they just depend on the engineers to face the problems and to try to solve them. And they trust them to do that because they know that they are practiced, they know what to do, and they know how to use their critical thinking and problem solving skills. For example, at the school, what is the authentic situation we can create for the students? For example, there is a robotics competition, and the students need to troubleshoot the programs, the errors that happens in the programs, and it should be under time pressure. Okay, how about if I'm an English teacher? I don't have robotics or whatever. Okay, give them a task, but be very strict on the time. Because most of us, we give the task to the students and we just leave them to do it. When they finish it, it means the task is ending. But actually, this is not quite correct. If you want them to think critically how to make the task done in short time, you have to limit them on the time. It's exactly like any exam that we know, TOEFL, IELTS, or whatever. The students need to go through the whole tasks and to think critically what should work first, what should be done later on, and so on. So, this is the way you can practice that with your students in the class. How about the activities? For example, I like this activity. What would you do if? That's it. It's like an open-ended question. So, what would you do if? And I just give him a situation that requires him to think and find the reasons. And after that, he would process that or she would process that and find the solutions. Unfortunately, these types of questions are not there in our assessment. It is always, for example, I would tell you the truth, most of the teachers, and I was one of them, we find that the multiple choice exam is easier to the students and easier for us to be checked. But by time, I learned that it doesn't measure the clear thing that I want, or it doesn't serve my objectives of the assessment with my students. The questions or the essay questions or open-ended questions are way better to discover more about my students, their potentials, their hopes, wishes, what they can do even, and I still don't know about it. So let's try that. Let's try those types of questions to add it to our assessment. At least add one question at the end of your assessment. It will work. The following skill is creativity and innovation. We practice that in our schools, like sometimes in the science lab or maybe in robotics lab or STEM lab. But we need our students to think outside the box, like to find abnormal solutions. If you think about all the scientists and all the people that we like to read their books, you will find out that all of them, they thought out of the box one day. That's why we like them, we admire them. We always ask, how did they think about that? Why don't we do these people? As teachers, it is in our hands to help our students to improve that skill. A global company like Apple, for example, they thrive on creativity in the product design. Not only Apple, but you can think about any car company. Every year they have a competition for creativity and innovation in the design of the car, for example. So it's really demanded. If we are going to have a success story of a student in the class, it's like a teenager creating application to solve a problem that's happening locally in his school or in his country. We have done that back there when I was in Oxford with our grade 11 students. We gave them the problem. Like, we have a problem in the community that there are more working ladies now in Tajikistan. So, how can you help them? Think about the problems that might face them and please find a solution. What happened is that grade 11 students, they designed an application that they can deliver homemade food to homes of the ladies who are working. So they designed the application. They even agreed with one of the mothers of them that she will cook the food at home and they will really deliver the food. It was not only a case study, but it was an amazing project by the students that they practiced doing something in real life. So, for example, this is one of the activities that we can do. We just ask the students to find a problem and to find a solution. And it can be a long period project, like they can work on it for 1 month or a couple of months. And after that, you can check the result. During doing that activity, they will collaborate, communicate, they will practice creativity, innovation, and whatever we talked about. Okay. The following skill is adaptability and resilience. And we all know that the students now, they don't have that much resilience. I have seen that a lot, especially in teenagers now. They are not ready to adapt easily to anything. Or sometimes they are stubborn. They just think about a specific situation or a specific atmosphere and they just want it. I will give you a very simple example. I have faced that a lot. You take, for example, your child from one school to another school, and when he goes to the other school, it didn't happen with me personally, but it happened in front of me a lot. You take him to the other school, so as a result, he comes to you very smartly and he says that no lessons in the school, no discipline in the school. Why? Because he or she can't adapt to the new school and he wants to go back. So kids are very smart nowadays, but the adaptability they have is really weak. So, how can we give them an example of that? There is a very famous company which is called Airbnb. It is just like to if you wanted to go somewhere, you can rent a room in a hotel or a hostel or something if you wanted to travel for tourism. I use it myself a lot. So, for example, during COVID, when it was the coronavirus, of course, no one could travel to anywhere. So Airbnb, to adapt to the situation and to keep the business running, they offered online travel experiences. It means that you are sitting at home and you are traveling online. Can you imagine? And a lot of people thought that it is a failure idea and no one would go for that. But actually, they could make a lot of money from this idea because it was something new and they tried to adapt to the situation that's happening that time. Okay, how can we make a success story for our students or authentic situation? For example, students are exchanging students to new cultures and languages. And I will discuss that with you later, that we can do that actually physically or online. So I can do that student exchange program from my school, from my university, with other cultures from different places, just to help my students to learn what adaptability means. And sometimes, believe me, when they meet students of other countries, they see that we are in a good situation. We are happy here and everything is fine. Or sometimes they build their own hopes, like, let's travel to this country or let's do like these students are doing in their campuses. So, how about in my class, like smaller scale? How can I practice or how can I help my students to be more able to adapt to different situations? For example, I think all of you have lived this situation, changing the seating plan. Once you change the seating plan, even the parents, they complain about it. I know that. So changing the seating plan in the class would help your students to learn that. First time it will be difficult, second time it will be difficult, but after a while they will get used to it, that the teacher is always changing us. Also, rotating the group partners, like don't keep the same group working together for the whole year or the whole semester. Every time, change the groups. Don't ask the students to choose their groups. They will always choose each other. Try to find a way to change the groups of the students so they can adapt to different people. Also, you can apply the reflection activities to the students. For example, they need to reflect on themselves. What did I learn from today? Maybe you can prepare an inquiry wall or something, or reflection wall that they can write on it. What did they learn from their mistakes today, or what did they learn from other people today? That will open their eyes to look around and, figure out that that person did this to adapt to that situation or to deal with the situation and so on. The fifth skill that we have, I have six skills for today. The fifth skill we have is leadership and responsibility. In most of the schools, unfortunately, we don't have that leadership, skills. We can see it naturally in some of the students that, yes, this student is a leader by nature. But what do we do as teachers to have more leaders in our classes? That's what we need to work on. So if we take an example of Microsoft, they value the leaders who empower the teams instead of micromanaging. What does this mean? It means they don't want bosses, they want leaders. I think most of you have read that, the difference between the boss and the leader. The boss is the person who is always sitting in the office, shouting at the faces, firing, hiring, and that style. But the leader is the person who takes the hand of the employees and teach them what to do, how to do it, and he is quite patient for the people to learn. And he can measure that this time you learned this, well done. He knows how to reward and how to punish as well. So we want to create those leaders in our classes or in our institutions. So if we have a short story or success story of our students, we will say that the school would encourage the project leaders organizing events, for example. So as a school, can I depend on my students to organize an event? Yes, you can. Let them make mistakes. Let that event fail. They just need to learn how to organize it. And believe me, I have never tried that and it failed. Always and always, the students wanted to show you that thank you for trust. We are going to do it correctly. So I tried this, for example, in events, in organizing school magazines, in organizing parents' meetings, and they never failed me. It is always working. Just to give them the trust, divide the roles, try to supervise from far away, and give them the floor. They will do amazing job. For example, inside your class on a smaller scale, you can ask the students to lead the warm-up activities every day. So every student has the turn in a different way to design a warm-up activity at the beginning of the class. Just look at the creativity and innovation they will do with this. The last one we have is the cultural awareness and the emotional intelligence. This is sort of psychology a little bit, but the students need to learn that. They need to learn how to appreciate other cultures, how to understand other cultures, maybe how to read more about it, that you are not alone in the world. There are more people who are having different customs and habits, different languages, different history. They need to know that. And emotional intelligence, they need to learn how to express their feelings. It's really heartbreaking when you see a boy crying and the teacher tells him, don't cry, you are a man. Actually, he should cry. It is better for him to cry if he has a problem and he is young. So this is the thing here, how to raise that. If I give an example, for example, in the UNICEF or any international organization, they require that cultural sensitivity to be able to work with them. So maybe one of our students will be working there. He needs to show that he is aware of different cultures and so on. Add the class or a story that we can create to our students, like we can create a debate competition in our school, for example, with the students engaging from different cultures. If you are a school that has international students, that would be amazing. How about if I'm a school with only Tajik students or only Uzbek students or whatever? It's okay. I'm sure those students are from different regions, from different districts, maybe. And every region has its own culture. They can share that, they can know more about that. I've seen people that they don't know that much about their country and different regions in the country. So they can share that and they can be more aware of it. If we have international students, that would be amazing to share. If not, actually, you can cooperate with other schools in other countries or other universities in other countries just to share the awareness about cultures. So, what can be a small thing that we can do at the school? Celebrating the international days, for example. It's a really nice activity that I know that there is an international day for Tajikistan and international day for Uzbekistan. Every country has an international day. How about in your school if you hang different flags with the date of the international day of this country to raise the awareness of the for the students? And maybe you can write a small summary or a short summary under that, giving more information about this country or why they celebrate their international day in that day. So that would be a nice thing for the students also. For the emotional intelligence, I'm sure we have practiced that before, but let me emphasize it again. The emotions check-ins. We started the class by checking the emotions of the students. Sometimes they pick a card with the word that would express them today, or maybe an emoji or something. That's also a good approach to practice with your students. Okay. Okay, let's go through some practical classroom activities. How can we do them? How can we apply them with our students? If we look here together, we have that activity, which is integrate real world English use. For example, you can assign your students to write a cover letter or record a short video as if they are applying to an international company. Only 1 minute video. Let's watch that video together or let's read this cover letter. How will that show that my student is able to communicate and to show his ability for collaboration? How could he represent himself? How could he talk about his skills? Believe me, I do counseling for students who are about to join universities. And a lot of them, when I talk to them, tell me about your hobbies. He just simply says, I don't have a hobby. Okay. How about football? Do you like football? Oh, yeah, I like football. Okay. Do you go fishing with someone? Oh, yeah, I go fishing with my grandfather. Fine. Do you play any volleyball with your friends? Yes, I'm good at volleyball. So, by asking questions to the student, I discover that he has hobbies, he has skills, but he doesn't know how to talk about them. Again, back to the point, communication. He doesn't know how to express himself, how to talk about his skills, his abilities, how to represent that. They don't know because nowadays kids are very, very busy with the screen, whatever the screen is. So there is no that enough communication even inside the same family. So the kids, they are not practiced to make sentences or to talk about things or even to show their opinion, by the way. Most of them, they just don't care. Whatever is happening now, it's okay for me. What would you like to eat for today? Okay, anything, that's okay for me. So this is the thing here. We want them to be able to represent themselves. In my opinion, videos are very successful approach. Ask your students, homework ideas should be recording videos. within this video, he can talk, he can use his body language, he can represent some idea without being under the stress of having an audience in front of him or her. Try this one. Another activity is to develop the global mindset in your lessons. Like, for example, you use international articles or podcasts or even TED Talks in your English lessons. These are like authentic materials that you are using with your students. And you can use one of these things to start a discussion on a global issue. It's something similar to MUNs, but with materials, with resources. Normally in MUNs, they don't provide the students with a lot of materials, but in this activity, you can do that. After they read the activity, or sorry, they read the article and so on, they can start comparing the local situation with the global situation. If we talk about any of the topic, like for example, the AI, using AI, how is it happening in my country and how it happens globally? What are the improvement in this field and so on? They can discuss this together. So that would, of course, develop their global mindset. The following activity is collaboration across borders. This is the one I was telling you about, that you have to create sort of collaboration with another school, with another maybe institution abroad. Uh, Unfortunately, sometimes, again, if I am in a school and I try to create any collaboration with another school, maybe the management would say that they are our competitors. We shouldn't collaborate with them. But actually we should. We should collaborate with different schools, even inside the same country, collaborate together, create projects together. The students will meet each other, they would know each other. If you have the chance to collaborate with schools or institutions abroad, even online, that's also a successful approach. Okay. The following activity can involve critical thinking, but with global scenarios. Like, for example, when you give the student a real world case, like, for example, water scarcity in Africa, or for example, tech ethics, for example, and you just ask them to brainstorm solutions for this. And they prepare the presentations in English. So the students, there is something called UN Youth Council. They should imagine themselves as a member in that. So how can you solve this, or what can you present to the world to solve this problem? One more activity to improve leadership and responsibility, rotating the roles. As teachers, sometimes when we feel that we have a later student, we depend on him in everything. And that makes us more comfortable. But actually, you should rotate the roles just to give everyone the chance to practice leadership, especially in young ages. Yes, in high school and so on, sometimes we face shy students who wouldn't like to participate in such a thing. But in primary and middle school, try your best to rotate the roles so that the students would practice these things. It can be in a class debate or class activity. Try to rotate the roles to make different leaders every time. Another activity to practice adaptability and resilience is the role play, just to give them unexpected challenges. For resilience, guys, it has to go through those three circles that you have on the screen: adaptability, flexibility, and learning. The three processes are happening together when a student is facing unexpected challenge. For example, lost luggage at the airport. It always happens. Or misunderstanding between two people and you are trying to solve it. Actually, you can give the written scenario, so the complete scenario. And it would be more fun if they acted in the class. Like one child is in the airport, he has just arrived, he is waiting for his luggage, but the luggage didn't come. Then another one would come and ask him, what's the problem? They can have a conversation. It's really nice activity to practice speaking and listening as English teachers, and at the same time to try to find solutions together. There is, teachers who have taken the TOEFL test. There is one question in the speaking part is similar to that. Like you read a text or you hear a problem, two people are talking about a problem together. And after that, you speak, your speaking part is to find solutions for this problem. Actually, this is like problem solving technique that you have to apply it immediately in the exam. So it is nice also to practice this with the students in the class. Another activity here is that to raise the cultural awareness and the emotional intelligence is the culture showcase. Students present one tradition from their culture, whatever it is, and compare it to another country or another region, for example. And the thing here is that we don't want to show that to the student as they have to write an assignment or something like that. Make it more fun. Let them design posters, for example, about this tradition. They can design posters, they can find videos. Maybe it can be a small showcase or like a fair in your class that they can organize tables from different regions in the country to put something on it and to present it. So that would be amazing. It's like a small international day inside your class that the students would share ideas. The thing about these activities is that it needs a lot of preparation and it needs you as a teacher to think about it, to generate it, and to give the instructions in a correct way to your students so that they can go on with you, they can practice that with you in a correct way. For such an activity, for example, you need to give them time to prepare. They might come back to you and ask you for fine tuning with them. You need to be there for them most of the time. Okay, I have here some practical tips that I tried them myself and they were very successful. The first one is to create soft skill of the month. It can be in the class, but for my experience, I tried it around the whole school. How is this? For example, we had a bulletin board that we used to put the theme on it. For example, the theme for this month is collaboration. It means that everyone should go through collaboration activities in the school. And we create the situations for them that they need to collaborate. They need to collaborate with the gardener, they need to collaborate in the kitchen of the school, they need to collaborate with each other, maybe with the cleaners, and so on. So you can create that. If it is not available to be done like around the school, it can be only in your class. So the theme for this month, for example, is critical thinking. You can prepare problems that they will take them every day, or let's say every Friday, and they would spend the weekend thinking about solutions for this problem. Another technique that is always also successful, I did it for myself first. And when I felt that it is successful with me, I just conveyed the experience to my students to practice that using reflection journals. So the students should write some journals. We have very, very weak generation in writing. They are depending a lot on the AI, and they don't have that ability to brainstorm ideas and to stay for a long time thinking about what to write. So that would be a nice practice for them to reflect on whatever happened with them during the day, or if you created the skill of the month, they can reflect on that very skill every day. What did he do to practice this skill today? So on that reflection journal, you as a teacher, you can find out who could practice that skill this month or this week and who couldn't. The following one is integrating project-based learning. I think with many EWB webinars, we have discussed the project-based learning. Applying that in your class at least once a week. Maybe you can make Friday is a project-based learning approach. You can just do that. The students are practicing all the skills we have talked about today when they are doing a project together. So that can help you improve this. The following one is giving your students real responsibilities. As we mentioned, like organizing events or maybe peer tutoring, like we did with high school and primary, but to be real responsibilities that you are really depending on them, not only you are faking that. The following one, the following one is providing consistent, thank you. The following one is providing consistent and positive feedback. It's not nice at all when you give the task to your students and they do it and they don't receive any feedback from you. It's very important to reflect on our students' work. Exactly like exams. We just check the exams and we give them to the student as a result. How about my feedback as a teacher? I should spend some time on every student. I know how crowded the schools are and how crowded the classes are. Play it smart. If I have some students with a common mistake, I can gather them together and I can reflect to all of them at the same time. But if I have individual mistakes, maybe I can reflect to them individually. If there is a general, like a common mistake in all my class, then it is my problem. I need to reteach this part. So it is the same here. You need to give always positive feedback. If I see that my students are collaborating together, I have to give that feedback that, guys, you are doing a great job. I'm really happy with you. You can listen to each other. You could do this, you could do that. So this is a really important point that would make big effect on your students. The last thing I wanted to tell you for today is how to start, where to start. So I liked to design this roadmap to you. So from today, we can start on building those soft skills in our students to help them join the universities they like, or even to help them to go through life. It's really nice to find some people around me who are able to listen to me or even talk to me in a correct way. So on the first couple of weeks, let's say from week 1 to week 2, we will raise the awareness in ourselves and we will try to plan what I want to do next. So you can plan mini activity, maybe every week. It means 2 activities. So week 1, mini activity, week 2, another mini activity. For the following period, like from 3 to 6 weeks, you can start linking those activities to your subject, to the lesson you are teaching. So now I have a lesson. I am an English teacher, math teacher, whatever you are teaching. Try to link those activities to your lesson plan. So they would look like completing the day. The following period of time, like from 7 to 10 weeks, try to practice and reflect. How is that? You give the roles to the students. Now they are ready. They already practiced those skills with me. They are ready to take their responsibility. So what you do is that you give them the roles and you just watch them from far. How are they acting? Did they really understand what we have practiced together? Try to check on their mistakes, give them feedbacks all the time, let them do the thing, trust them. After that, from week 11 to week 14, you can start connecting what they learned with you inside the school, inside the class, to global opportunities. real global opportunities, like maybe an international Olympiad, or maybe an MUN, a real MUN, or maybe some TED Talks. Try to provide them with authentic materials, expose them to that so they can open their mind, open their eyes more and more. The period coming after that would be sustained, like ongoing period. Now, as a teacher, you created your routine with your students. Now they understand that activities, roles, teachers depending on us, all this is part of our educational routine. We have to go through it with our teacher and we like it. So this way, you are building that inside your student and you are connecting him to his future. So really, I want you now as teachers to open your eyes that books are not everything. Solving exams are not everything. It is building the human that you have in your class, building the character that you have in your class. That would make a big difference. You will be very happy when you meet that person in the future and you find that he is a leader in his place, or he is a problem solver, or he is that person who can talk fluently and communicate with people. This is a real achievement. Scores are not everything. I would say that the child, the student, is the matter, is the person that we should care for. So all in all, we have discussed today all those soft skills that can help our students to pass interviews to universities, or to be like those independent students later on in the future. I wish you can practice that, and I really hope that I can receive feedbacks from you. You can find me on Instagram or on my email. I think everyone has it already. I would be very happy receiving your questions. I think we still have some time, Miss Nasiba, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. It was really
Thank,
interesting.
thank you,
Yeah,
dear.
to be honest, yeah, I think uh, having interview skills is very crucial nowadays, because
Yeah.
even like, the person has very good hard skills and very good, like,
Yeah.
competencies. Still, I know lots of guys and lots of teachers who have really great teaching skills, but they fail the interview process,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah. So therefore, I think, like, yeah, along with the hard skills, developing soft skills are very, very important nowadays.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Yeah. So
welcome, dear.
we have
You're welcome.
a couple of questions from our audience, but yeah, of course, we welcome everybody also to put your questions in the chat box. And those who are watching us on Facebook, you can put your questions in the comment box, so we'll pass them to our speaker. And by
Mhm.
now, we have several questions. So
Sure.
Firuz is asking, yes, how do we create leaders in class? What if during creating leaders, we make them bosses? If so,
Yeah.
how not to let them become a boss? Kind of, you know,
I totally
paradoxical
agree.
question.
Yeah,
Yes.
I totally understand you, Feroz, because some leaders, or not leaders, let's say many leaders that we are trying to raise them up, they misunderstand the authority. I've seen that a lot, that people who misunderstand the authority and they turn it to be bosses. I totally agree with you. I think the best approach is to be a role model yourself to them. Because somehow you can't teach them by words. You teach them by your actions as a teacher to them in the class. So if they see that you are trying to give them the chance to be leaders and you yourself are dealing with them as a leader, they will just follow you and they will try to do as you do. They will always reflect on your actions. Like that's how Mr. Fairuz acted in our lesson, or acted with us, so they will reflect on that. Students, I think, they are they are more connected to their teachers than their families or whoever. So we are the people who spend the longer time with them. So as I mentioned, on that time of your reflection and giving feedback to your students, you have to give that positive feedback. I have a technique that everyone now knows about me. They even call me Miss Marwa, you are very good at sandwiches. The sandwich technique is to give the feedback to your students in a sandwich. Like, first, you tell him something very good about him. Then you tell him what is the point he needs to improve. Then again, you tell him something good about himself. So this way is a sandwich technique. Like you don't make him feel that you are criticizing him. You are just trying to help, and you see the good thing in him. Another nice technique to give feedback to your students to help them to be more leaders is the 3-2-1 technique. You mention to him three things that you liked about him in that activity or this project or in his leadership style or the event that they prepared. And two things that they need to share with everyone. They are, wow, like we really liked, and only one thing to improve. So this way they can learn from you. Oh, Mr. Fairouz is a leader. He is just helping us. He sees the good and the bad. And when he tells us about something that we need to improve, he tells us what to do. Because many bosses, they just tell you, you are not good at that. Okay, how can I fix it? I don't know. You have to go and check yourself. I hate this way. So, as a leader, you should give them the way. What should they do to fix what they have done? So they can learn by time. And I hope this way you are not gonna make bosses, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Indeed, like, personal experience is always, yeah, important because, again, like, we are coming in touch with some other human being, and it is very important not
Yeah.
to, yeah, not to harm anyone by, by slight, touch or by slight, like, remarks or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well,
So, okay, we have another question from Guzal. She's asking, what qualities would you call universal for communication in a multinational environment?
mhm. So, why I thought about this webinar? Because I always register or help the students to register to international universities, and I always receive the feedback from the universities, or sometimes I receive the feedback from the students. What was the interview about? Some of them they have to go through interview. Some of them they have to write motivational letters. And what happens now is that the universities are always uh, seeking or searching for students who can really affect the campus in a positive way. And because now we are talking about something that is international, these are the skills that they need to see in the student. Like he can be a leader one day, he can be a good communicator, he can collaborate with everyone, and so on. So he can be creative, he can be innovative, he can be a problem solver, a critical thinker. These are the things. Even Ms. Guzal, if you look at all the international accreditations like Cambridge, IB, and whatever, you will find that the students' attribute is going around those soft skills. Like the students' attribute of Cambridge, the students' attribute of IB, and so on, they are always going around to be a problem solver, to be a knowledgeable person, to be a critical thinker, and so on. That's what they want from this generation to grow up and to join the university. That's how they are preparing their kids in the West, to be honest. For example, in the States, they have attendance hours that they have to go to the school. So they can finish their school when they are 15 or 16 and they can join the university. They depend on them, they trust them that he can pass that. But for us in the eastern part, he has to go through an academic year that's like 10 months or 11 months, and it is not allowed in our systems to jump one year, for example. So, as teachers, it is our role now to work on those skills inside our classes, try to make our students able to go with these students in the West and just to survive with them. So these are the international skills that we were discussing today.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. So, next question. How does digitalization affect the development of interpersonal communication skills?
A
Again,
lot.
Zuzal is asking.
A lot. It's really, believe me, as a mother, I'm sometimes worried about my kids because whenever, for example, whenever we try to create that family gathering or whatever, you find that at a point everyone is having his phone and just looking at it. So, of course, technology and digital life affected the communication skills a lot. Even nowadays, there is a research that says a lot of the students coming on the way to primary and so on, they don't know how to pronounce the letters correctly because they speak less. The muscles in their face are not grown correctly because they are not using their mouth. They are not using their face to speak. Imagine. So that's why I think, for example, in the schools I go to now, I really advise to stop technology. I'm sorry. I love technology. I love AI. I love whatever, but prevent technology in the classes because even in the West now, in Finland, in Switzerland, and so on, they announced it very clearly that we admit the failure of technology in the classes. They stopped that. Many schools in those countries, they had tablet labs for reading and so on. They canceled that and they brought the hard books to the library now because they discovered that this is really affecting the communication of the students. I really wish that we go back to the era of the hard books and the family gatherings. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and if there are any last minute questions, we encourage everybody. Yes, if you didn't have chance to write your question, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions directly to Marwa Mansour.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mavluda is asking, how often do you check your students' reflection journal?
It is actually depending on you. I used to do that every week because it's really difficult to reflect, to revise that daily basis, and it doesn't measure anything if you revise it every day. You can make it weekly basis, like every weekend or something. You can just check the journals. I had my own journal, by the way, for my students, but not only to for the soft skills, but for their behavior and so on. I considered that as on-campus research, like I'm doing my own research on my students. How is their emotions today? How are their behavior and so on? For their own journals and their own reflections, you can revise it once a week. I think that would be enough for you.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
thank you so much. Yeah,
You're
that was
welcome.
very interesting. And another question popped up. Do you assess your students with any tools such as AI or anything else?
I assist them with AI. If you mean that, you mean that I write exams or something with AI? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean just, as Muqaddam, yes, Muqaddam, if you want to clarify your question.
Yes, please, Ms. Muqaddam, you can clarify that. Do you mean that I use AI to assess them? Actually, to prepare the assessment, I prefer authentic assessment. That's better for me. Yes, Ms. Muqaddam, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Hello, dear all.
Hello.
Hello, dear Professor. I really enjoyed your session. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're
I would
always
like
welcome.
to know that which AI tool is really useful. Thank you. Which AI tool is really useful for us as English teachers to assess our students? I mean, to give feedbacks and to, how to say, uh, to check the knowledge. Which tool is really useful for us? Thank
Yes,
you so
you
much.
wanted to check the knowledge of your students and you wanted to prepare assessment for them by AI, right? That's what I understand.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, if it is look, Ms. Muqaddam, as we know, there are two types of assessment, formative and
Yes.
summative. If your assessment is a formative assessment, of course, you are welcome to use AI. Maybe you can just feed the ChatGPT or DeepSeek or something like that with the idea that you want to assess. And ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever the AI tool can give you many ideas. It can be a project, it can be worksheet, it can be normal questions types or whatever. But if your assessment is a summative assessment, I prefer to use authentic assessment. Like you yourself create the questions, or if you are following a specific accreditation like Cambridge, you can find the Cambridge past papers and use the questions there, something like that, something to be really designed by exam authors who know how to design the questions, because whatever we do, it's not like the exam authors when they think about the questions and design the answer key. But if it is formative assessment, you are welcome to use AI. You are welcome. Even sometimes we use different tools like online, like what they call it. I forgot now, but there are a lot of tools actually. ChatGPT and DeepSeek are very nice
Mhm.
ones that you can
Yeah.
depend on them. Yes.
Mhm.
The important thing is writing the correct prompt.
Prompt,
That's
exactly. Yes,
yes.
writing the correct prompt. Otherwise, they will
Yeah.
generate lots of
Yes.
materials. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank
Great.
You're
you
Thank
welcome.
you.
so
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome, Ms.
Thank
Muqaddam.
you.
Yeah, I think Muqaddam's connection is a
Thank
little
you.
bit, yeah, unstable. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Muqaddam. All right, thank you so much. Once
Thank you.
again, we extend our gratitude to you, dear Marwa, for your interesting and
Thank
engaging
you.
webinar. The topic was really, really useful. And I
Thank you.
hope the teachers, yeah, have some great takeaways from today's webinar that they will start using right away tomorrow in their classes and further
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, dear.
Again, yeah, thank you, dear all, for your active participation, and we'll look forward to see you in more webinars. And of course, yeah, please apply to EWB conference, and yes, we will be happy to see your application. And of course, yeah, if you are lucky enough, you will be selected. Please
Yeah.
do proper, yeah, job of filling out the application and saving your spot at the upcoming conference. And once again, thank you so much, dear Marwa, and everybody have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Nasiba. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Enjoy your evening. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.